Hi guys, my name's Noelle Fitchett and I'm here at Texas A&M with Campus Reform. We're going to go ask students what they think about the word Latinx, if it should be used on campus or if it shouldn't. Let's go find out. It's Hispanic Heritage Month and there's a growing popularity for a new term, Latinx. Have you ever heard of that term?
Yes.
I have heard of it.
No.
Yes.
I have not, no.
A lot of people are starting to use it because they believe it's more gender inclusive. So it actually changes. Usually they use Latina or Latino to describe female and male Hispanics, but now a lot of academics and schools are using Latinx. What are your first thoughts on that?
I think it's great. I think it makes sense to include everybody.
I haven't really used that word.
I've heard of it, and I think it's a good inclusive term.
It's quite new to me. That's up to whoever wants to be referred to.
It encompasses people of all genders or sexualities that are within the Latin American community.
I personally can't speak of it because I'm not part of that community.
I personally don't know much about it, but I mean anything that is inclusive to everyone, sure.
Personally don't use it. I use like Hispanic, but I feel like Latinx is more inclusive.
I feel like it's definitely more inclusive because when you end it in like A or O, it's really masculine or feminine, and so it doesn't really include the whole population. But I'm also not part of the community, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
What I've heard is people are trying to be like more inclusive.
Have you ever met another Latino that uses the term Latinx?
Not really. I don't think so. I don't.
I have. No, I've never met anyone that uses it.
No, until I got to college, I started hearing, kind of seeing it. Not really, like back home, it's like Latino, Latina.
I personally haven't.
I personally have not.
People back home who do use the term, but it's more when they're talking about the population broadly and not for themselves.
No, I have not. I have not.
I haven't. No.
Not many, I don't think so.
I personally have not. I've seen people refer to them as Latinx on social media and stuff, but not like in person.
A recent poll found that only 3% of Latinos use the term Latinx. Critics say that it's actually changing the Hispanic language because, again, we use Latina, Latino at the end of words. Do you think that should be taken into consideration whether people use it or not?
They could think it's an issue. If you want to learn more, talk to a Hispanic, Latin American, get to know them, see what they use.
I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know how big a change will be, but I don't think it'll be that big a change.
I think it's fair. I think it's helpful to understand, like if you're talking about a certain population, to understand how they view it. And so I think that my understanding is that Latinx was used to not be like gender specific and to try to be sensitive to the culture, and if it's actually doing the opposite, then I think it's understandable to not want to use Latinx.
It's not good when people feel left out of stuff.
I don't think Latinos, I don't even know what that word really means. People use it a lot. I've heard of it, but a lot of Latinos don't even know what that is.
I think it should be taken into consideration. If it's changing someone else's language, then we should see how that impacts their community.
No, I think the language, even the English language, changes all the time. So I don't think that would be a big factor in that.
I can see it being offending for some people.
If only 3% of Hispanics use the term Latinx, do you think it should be widely used?
Probably not, if they're not comfortable with using that.
We'll just have to outweigh the rights, goods and bads.
The 3% of Latinx people of Latin people that do use it, and the 97% that don't. I feel like everyone should be considering that.
Anybody can identify with any, the term that they prefer. It's just gives people the option to have another term that fits them best.
I think you should acknowledge everybody's concern, whether you agree with it or not.
And it should be included, because 3% is still 3%. 3% of 100 people is still 3 people, so.